Alright, I know you see the title and you're getting your dislike button and angry comments ready. First off, the game is great. I am not saying it's a bad game whatsoever, but after getting a bit of game time in and watching other content related to the game, I do have some concerns. And that's all they are, just concerns of my own. I will still be purchasing the game, as again, it is a great game and I'm looking forward to it, but there are some things I have some worries about. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so the main concern I have about Elden Ring so far is the bosses actually. I know it's a network test, so it's very possible that bosses were tweaked for the test, so maybe this whole point won't matter upon release at all, and this video is basically just kind of like a gigantic waste of time, who knows. But out of the roughly 12 bosses that I saw in the network test, I feel like only 4 of them really felt like full fights. The ones that felt good were Margit, the Flying Dragon, Tree Sentinel, and maybe Bloodhound Knight Darwill. Part of this is due to some being really simple, but also some just going down incredibly fast and having really low HP pools. Even without the use of magic, which seems to be incredibly broken in this game, some of the bosses die as fast as some of the mini-bosses in other games. I don't really have a problem with some bosses being easy, and that's completely fine, but 1/3 of the bosses felt good, and the other 2/3 just felt kind of there. Not really bad, but it didn't quite hit the nerves that the bosses usually do. I didn't feel threatened, they felt just very empty compared to the 4 that I listed earlier, just kind of underwhelming. In those 4 fights that I did mention earlier, I felt that Dark Souls feeling of watching the boss closely and knowing that I'm probably 2 hits away from death at any point. Feeling that sense of both adrenaline and also fear of losing the fight, that's what I truly love about these games. And by the way, these fights were done solo, so I could only imagine how they would be with co-op or with spirit summons, for example. I don't consider myself a good gamer by any means. I struggled with Gwyn, Ornstein and Smo, and Fume Knight, for example, and those are all pretty classic bosses to get wrecked by within each of these games besides maybe Gwyn. I consider myself pretty average is my point. This isn't me trying to basically brag about my gamer skills or anything like that, but what I'm trying to say, as a gamer who feels like they're pretty average at games in general, I feel as if these bosses are actually very easy, which is kind of concerning. I can't speak for everyone, but that is a big part of why I play these games. It's because I want to feel like I'm overcoming something that is almost impossible. I want to learn attack patterns, I want to die a few times at least, and then overcome the challenge and feel that sense of joy, and then go on and continue to do it again and again until the end of the game. And I think a lot of people in the Souls community share that same idea. Maybe not all of them, but I'd like to think that a pretty large majority do. A lot of the times I just didn't find that sense of relief after defeating these bosses. It was more of just like a, oh, that's over. Like one less boss to defeat, I guess. I understand that it's an open world game, so obviously content is probably going to be more varied and scattered compared to a traditional linear experience that other titles give. I do understand that, because the player can go from anywhere to anywhere pretty much. I assume that From Software put a variety of skill level bosses throughout each area, so that if a new player goes into any direction, they won't find themselves so outclassed by everything. There's still content that can be enjoyed, even if you just started your playthrough, and I think that's wonderful, and that of course can be related to the fact that the game is now open world. When you take away that linear experience, you can no longer guarantee the player to go the intended route, so difficulty can range all over the place. However, it was still concerning that out of the 12 bosses or so we've seen so far, only 4 of them really captured that same Dark Souls feeling for me. This could very well just be a me thing, so let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below, because I don't know if I'm alone in this feeling, or if other people feel the same way with their experiences with the game. It reminds me of the same feelings that I had with Dark Souls 2 bosses, and Dark Souls 2 as a whole, like Twin Dragon Riders, the Royal Rat Vanguard, Old Dragon Slayer, and other bosses that just really didn't hit the mark at all for me. I find that after those fights, I didn't really feel much of anything at all, and to me that's so unlike Dark Souls. I could be wrong here, and maybe this is just the center of the game shown in the network test, and it's supposed to have a good majority of simpler and easier bosses compared to other farther away areas that we have yet to see by a design choice rather than a flaw in mechanics. I know I've been really critical about some of the fights, so I'd like to mention that Margit is an absolute masterpiece of a boss, and may become one of my favorites of all time throughout From Software's games. The flying dragons whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce, he hits the mark in all the right ways too, and in co-op that fight feels absolutely amazing and it's one of the best experiences so far. Tree Sentinel is a great boss to have so close to the spawn, and I absolutely love his design. All these fights are absolutely great to me, and I can't wait to see more fights that hit the mark like that, and I know I'll find more of them when the game actually releases. What I'm trying to say here about the bosses is that due to how many we did see, and how many I felt captured the Dark Souls experience or difficulty, I am worried that the rest of the game will maintain that same ratio. Let's say there's 100 bosses, and if we take a third of that, we are looking at 33 bosses, which is still a good number of good bosses. So let's just say 33 amazing fights and 67 fights that aren't quite hitting the mark. What then? Well, I'm definitely not going to say that I'm not going to buy the game or anything drastic like that. I would still love to experience everything, the bosses that hit the mark and the ones that don't. However, if the skill does go too far in the ones that don't section, I think that my overall experience and enjoyment of the game will be diminished to a pretty significant level. In short, I am worried by going open world here, we may be getting more of a quantity-based system of content like we did in Dark Souls 2 with the bosses versus the quality that the other titles gave us. And when you focus on quantity, the experience just feels very forgettable. For example, I'll never forget when I finally beat Ornstein and Smough, Gwyn, or Nidatorius. When I look back at my Dark Souls 2 journey though, because quantity felt more important than quality, I can't really name any bosses that really gave me that same feeling, which makes the entire game feel empty. While Dark Souls 2 isn't just absolutely terrible, the lack of quality on such important things like bosses significantly impacted my overall experience of the game. The disappointment that I felt when I went through a fog gate, only to see a boss fight with 2 dragon riders in a room instead of 1, is not something I want to feel within Elden Ring. I know this game is going to be enjoyable no matter what, and some parts may be weaker than others, and that's completely fine. Obviously, with such a big world, it's probably given to happen on a larger scale here. I am just worried that I may end up feeling like I would have rather had a more linear Dark Souls-like experience than this open world thing, that is all. I'm just one person and my opinion isn't really that important in the grand scheme of things. I just wanted to share my thoughts and see what you guys thought as well. I would love to hear what you guys think down below. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me in the comment section, and make sure to like and subscribe if you guys want to see more content like this. Thank you guys for watching.